Hi everyone, my name is Kerri-Ann. I am the Business Development Manager for Independent Living with Thermomix, and today I'm going to step you through how the Thermomix fits into the NDIS and how you can put in an application for a Thermomix with the NDIS. So this is set out for anyone really, consultants for allied health, for participants, carers, family members, and I'd really love this recording to reach some of the NDIS and the NDIA planners and all of those people that have the power to change some lives, because we know the Thermomix is an amazing tool for people on the NDIS, and we're really hoping to see it move forward and help a lot more people. So the key concepts that we're going to cover today are: what can the Thermomix do? What is cookiedoo.com.au, and the ongoing support that we provide through Thermomix. Also have a discussion about the modes, the blade cover peeler and the Thermomix cutter that's coming soon. And then we'll look at some of the key points that you need to cover in your application for NDIS, and we'll talk you through those. Really key thing to note is the Thermomix is considered mid-price assistive technology, which means anything from $1,500 to $15,000 should be able to go through the NDIS without any hoops, because it is an approved product, but it needs to meet the needs of the participant. So if the participant actually doesn't have a need for help in the kitchen or any of those things, it won't go through. If they've already got funding for a support worker to do their meal prep, then they'll have to make a decision and decide whether they're going to go with the Thermomix or continue with the support worker or do a modified version of both. So it really should just go straight through if it meets with the participants' goals and they have the funding. Otherwise, they will need to put in for a review. So the developmental benefits of a Thermomix, wow, I could do this, I could put this page first, but I could spend the longest amount of time on it. The Thermomix helps so many people. We have people out there with cognitive and intellectual disabilities that struggle to follow a recipe. And the Thermomix has step-by-step recipes on the screen, and they just need to follow the next button and read the simple step-by-step instructions. The scales are built in, so there's no need to worry about calculating. That all they have to do is match the actual weight that's on there, and all of the cooking on the guided cooking from Cookiedoo, all the modes are preset. So when you put your onion in, it'll then tell you to put the lid on, and then the next screen will ask you to turn the dial to chop it. So it will literally step you through everything. Now, that cognitive one goes just as strongly for people with mental health issues and executive functioning issues. So with mental health issues, we have a lot of people that are really struggling to make a decision to feed their family, that get overwhelmed. And again, the Thermomix with Cookiedoo will be a match made in heaven to allow a simple menu plan to be made. It will then put that menu plan into a shopping list that can be sent to the supermarket or to a third party. So lots of help in there. And cognitive and mental health executive functioning, if you have a look on this screen of all of the appliances that the Thermomix can replace. So you have one thing on your bench, step by step, that follows you through as what you need to do, instead of all of these things to potentially create the same meal. In terms of physical, fine and gross motor, we've got lots of people that use a Thermomix from a wheelchair or from a supported chair because of fatigue or gross motor issues where they can't stand. And fine motor, obviously grating, cutting, stirring, all of those things are really difficult and delicate actions. The Thermomix takes them all on board for the participant. In terms of sensory, I love the way the Thermomix ticks so many boxes in that sensory area. So it can tick the boxes for changing the texture of the food or cooking food to get that finer texture. So through steaming or poaching or cooking through our sous vide. So that means to seal the protein in like a plastic bag and cook it in water at a low temperature. And that will give you maximum nutrition, but it'll give you the softest absolute outcome where the food can then be easily swallowed for someone with swallowing difficulties or chewed or blended. In terms of sensory, the TM6 is the quietest of the Thermomixes, and can crush ice, it can chop a small clove of garlic, it's everything in between. And it's fabulous at being able to get those textures just at the prescribed thickness according to feeding specialists and speech therapists, to help people that are learning to swallow again or having difficulty swallowing or need a specific texture for swallowing. In terms of emotional and social, I'm going to stop on those two because, as I said, I could spend all day on this page. Having food, sharing food, and enjoying a really good meal, it's part of our nature. It's part of what we as humans do in terms of socializing. And having that denied, having to eat from a packet when you're desiring a home-cooked meal, having to eat a cuisine that's not your style because someone else is cooking it, or not being able to share in that social function of, having people over and sharing a meal and creating some of that meal. The emotional and social aspects to somebody's mental health and well-being is at the centre of what the Thermomix can do to make life easier for a participant. A mother that is trying to feed her family and struggling day to day, this is going to give her the ability with minimum effort to have a maximum flavour, beautiful meal for her children and her family. Same with a young adult that's moving out of home, struggling to keep within budget, to eat good foods or to follow a dietary plan that's been advised for them. The Thermomix will make all of that a breeze. It takes that mental fatigue, that overload away, because through Cookie Do, the participant can go in, select their meals for the week. They will all save on the Thermomix, and that's where your shopping list will then generate. Now, that may need a support worker for an hour a week to set that up, and then the participant may be able to do the rest of that by themselves for the rest of the week. So just have a think about this. There's so many benefits for a Thermomix, and obviously we want the benefits to be outlined for the participant. They do need to be specific for what they can do for the participant in order to have NDIS approval. So what can a Thermomix do? Well, what can't it do? It does everything except for deep fry, and it doesn't make popcorn. I'm pretty sure we can live without those two features because the Thermomix does so much more. So there's 30 things that the Thermomix does around this sign. And, from simple things of weighing and chopping and pureeing to also steaming and emulsifying. So, your customers and your participants are going to be able to whip up a really beautiful meal in the one appliance. So there's one thing to wash up, and it's all dishwasher safe as well. Best way to see all the things the Thermomix can do is to have a look through cookiedoo.com.au, and you can join and get 30-day free trial. So I really encourage everyone to have a look at that because it'll give you more insight as to what the Thermomix can do. But the best thing you can do is book a demo, whether it be a professional demo with allied health members or for a participant, a carer, a family. Reach out, we'll get a consultant in touch with you that can come and do a specific demo so you can get your hands on the Thermomix. We want you to see how easy it is. So the Thermomix is all about creating independence in the kitchen. As I said, it's connected to Wi-Fi and has 6 months access to cookiedoo.com.au. There is an annual charge, I think it's about $70 after that, which is continuing your access to the meal prep and ongoing cookbooks and collections that are continually being launched. So it's really great value. And I believe we've had participants claim the Cookie Do access through their consumables. So that'd be something worth talking to your plan manager about. In terms of cooking and cleaning, as I said previously, the Thermomix can chop a fine clove of garlic. It can do lemon rind and little things like that. But it can also cook 2 litres of beautifully pureed pumpkin soup, and you've done it all in one appliance. It also has a pre-clean mode. So if you're doing something that maybe requires sauteing of onions, you're going to do a longer pre-clean at the end to lift the caramelization off the bottom of the bowl. And if you're doing something quite quick, a cake batter or, some cookies or a smoothie, then you can just give it a quick rinse out. So lots of assistance with the Thermomix in terms of cooking and cleaning. It's not just about the actual cooking time. It's about the prep and the cleanup that we're saving time for as well. And what to make? Well, this is where I say, what do you eat? What do you like to eat? What part of the meal do you or does your participant have difficulty with? And that's what we want to do for you in your in-home demonstration. We want to show you what the Thermomix can do to change your life, to make your life easier. And what I use a Thermomix for and what you may use a Thermomix for could be very different depending on who is in our households, dietary needs, budgets, all sorts of things. So really have a chat to the consultant that's going to do your demo for you, and they have a menu matrix to work from. The menu matrix works because it is time efficient and shows you all of the features and functions of the Thermomix that we can in one meal. So have a chat to your Thermomix consultant about what to make at your in-home demo. Now, I have mentioned cookiedo.com.au several times, and the reason I am focusing on it is because it's part of the Thermomix that you often don't see on social media and in videos. And from showing participants, allied health workers, carers, and everybody alike, showing them cookie dough has been that one item that leaves their jaw on the ground. They all know that Thermomix is there to make life easier, that it cooks and chops and stirs, but they were unaware of the functions in cookie dough where you can search by ingredient, you can search by hashtags, you can search by serving sizes, you can scale up your serving sizes, scale down, avoid dietary issues such as gluten or dairy, and you can also load your own created recipes. So your Thermomix consultant can assist you in converting your favourite recipe to the Thermomix, and you can load that. So moving forward, it can just be cooked by guided cooking on the screen. It really is an absolute game changer, and something that I'd love everyone that's on this call to have a play with and see what surprises them about cookie dough and what it might be able to do for you to save you time, and then multiply that by 10 for a participant and realise the benefit that's available. The Thermomix has pre-programmed modes, and I'm only going to go through a couple of these because I want this video to be available to anyone that needs to find out about the Thermomix, and our modes are constantly being added. So when you have your in-home demonstration or virtual demonstration, ask your consultant about how many modes are available, or have a look on our website. But simply some of the modes that I love and that a lot of my customers have loved are things like the blend mode, because it will blend your hot ingredients slowly to allow the steam to release. The wheat grain represents a kneading function. So making your own bread, huge cost saver, and honestly that the smell in the house and the sense of pride in making a beautiful loaf of bread or a fancy loaf of bread to share with family and friends is something that I love hearing about with our customers. Egg boiler mode, so you can literally pop your eggs in, work out what setting you would like, so soft or hard boiled or anything in between, and then walk away, and the Thermomix will cook them to perfection for you. There's also ferment, high heat, slow cook, thicken, sous vide, kettle, pre-clean, rice cooker. It just keeps going on. These things are there to help you. They are built into the screen where you just have to touch the button and the instructions will come up on how you can use that mode successfully. I look forward to you seeing those at your demonstration. One of the things that we are really proud of in Thermomix is our ongoing customer support. And in terms of NDIS and supporting our participants, it is, it's really important that we ensure all our participants through the NDIS get to use the Thermomix in the way that works for them and that saves them time or allows them to meet their dietary needs, whatever their goal may be. So having an in-home demonstration, and if it is a standard demo that meets our requirements, you may be able to get some host rewards as a standard customer would. We do have a personalised delivery and first cook, either online or in your home. Online is available for anyone that would like to use it. And in times when COVID waves are going up and down, if we've got people that are immunocompromised, it's a great option. Otherwise, there is an in-home possibility, and that's where the consultant would come in and set up the Thermomix for you, help you with your Wi-Fi connection, and make a dish with you so that you get used to how to use the Thermomix and all of the features and functions. Your consultant then is only a phone call away. She may book in another cooking experience with you. You may join an online cooking class or a workshop. You might have ongoing demos to show more friends what the Thermomix can do and therefore potentially earn more host rewards. And that's where you learn more about your Thermomix. So your consultant is there to support you ongoing through a variety of mediums, whether it be social, phone calls, WhatsApp, any of those functions are available for ongoing support. So our blade cover peeler sits on top of the blade. So the Thermomix TM6 is the only cooker, thermal cooker on the market that we're aware of that has the one blade that stays in the whole time. Our blade can go from forward to reverse, so from chopping or stirring to gently stirring with the back of the blade. So think about your risotto, chop up your onion and garlic, but once you've got your rice in, it will go on to reverse because you don't want your rice all chopped up. You don't want mushy risotto. Our blade cover peeler sits on top of that blade, and when you add some water, it can peel your root vegetables, some of your fruit. It can also peel your eggs. Things like ginger and garlic that, people with fine motor and eye-hand coordination issues might struggle with. The blade cover peeler is going to come in and help with that. Literally throw it in with the blade cover peeler and some water and, tip the water on your garden or in your compost, and you'll pull your beautiful freshly peeled veggies or fruit out. It also acts as the blade cover for slow cooking. So if you're slow cooking your meat, wanting to use those cheaper cuts of meat and getting those deeper flavours, slow cooking will make it nice and tender. And this is what stops the meat from hitting the blades. So it is such a unique feature for the Thermomix. What we've also got coming is our Thermomix cutter. The Thermomix cutter, again, works in the TM5 and the TM6. It has its own bowl that sits inside the Thermomix bowl, again, on top of the blades. It's ergonomically designed. It's got all of the Thermomix safety features where the handles clamp down on the bowl to ensure that the cutter is in properly. And it has thicknesses that you can have thicker or thin slices, and the same with grating, thicker or thin grating. It's got a feeder chute for you to do, sweet potato, potatoes, bigger veggies. It's also got a smaller chute, so you can do things like chilies and shallots if you choose. It also does fruit beautifully. So a real time saver and a real stress saver for those that are looking to make potato bakes, platters, looking at different styles of cooking their vegetables to get that texture and variety into their diet. The Thermomix cutter will be out in 2023 and will be amazing to help everybody. And our gift with purchase for the NDIS customers that are purchasing through the NDIS get a thermoserver as their standard gift with purchase. So if there is another offer on, our NDIS customers often miss out on that because these sales take a little bit longer to close. So what we've got is a gift with purchase. It's worth about $75, and it is an integral part into saving time in your Thermomix because it keeps your food either hot or cold for a couple of hours. So for someone with fatigue issues, they might want to prepare their meal at 4 o'clock and have it all finished and in the thermoserver, and the Thermomix either self-cleaning or in the dishwasher and they can go and have a rest, or they can go and attend to their participant or their carer or their child, and dinner's done and it will stay hot. So it's a great time saver. If you're struggling to get meals on the table within a short time, you can cook them ahead and keep them hot in our thermoserver. So that is our standard gift with purchase for our NDIS customers. I've said it several times, but to really achieve that participant choice and person-centred approach that the NDIS values, and we should all value, is that you really need to see the Thermomix for yourself. So we're really encouraging you to have a in-home demonstration or a demonstration at maybe your allied health workplace, a friend's place, or organise it with the Thermomix consultant. Maybe there's an office or something nearby. And really get hands-on. Try the Thermomix. Get some photos to go with your application as well. Look at the measurements of you being able to reach into the bowl, or the participant being able to reach into the bowl, to be able to lift the bowl, how it works within their kitchen setup. All of those things is really important when you see the Thermomix, and cook that meal. Get hands-on and see how much easier the Thermomix is going to make it for you. So we'd love you to just have a demo with anyone that's important in your life. We're sort of saying 3 to 4 people, have your allied health planner there, or professional family members, and show them what the Thermomix might be able to do for them. But it's all about you getting hands-on with the Thermomix. So let's talk NDIS. To get our Thermomix, which we know is a huge benefit to so many participants, we need that application supporting document to be specific to the participant and to address the assistive technology, reasonable and necessary, and everyday item requirements of the NDIS. So reasonable and necessary, the Thermomix has to be related to the person's disability and be value for money and beneficial for the participant. So if they already have, as I said, funding for a support worker for meal prep, then a decision needs to be made whether the Thermomix gives the customer or the participant the ability to do that themselves, or they'd prefer to stay with the support worker doing it, and then maybe changing your plan so that you're reducing the support worker and the participant is still doing some of the meal prep themselves. It really is a case-by-case basis. But in terms of reasonable and necessary, looking at that emotional connection to food, that pride, dietary needs of cooking what they want, and the Thermomix in terms of reasonable and necessary and value for money, just by reducing a support worker's hours for about 10 hours a week, over 5 weeks, you've recouped the cost of the Thermomix. So it's really easy to justify the value for money if you're looking at it as to what it's going to provide the participant. The Thermomix is not an everyday item. We do get questions about the Thermomix being an everyday item because, yes, it is available for people to buy it. However, the specifics of the Thermomix support people with a disability in so many ways, which is why we are a approved provider with NDIS. And in terms of it being an everyday item, our research shows that we've only got about a 2% market penetration of Australia over the last 20 years. So it's certainly not an everyday item for most people. The cost makes it very difficult for some of our NDIS participants to achieve it. And we think that it meets so many needs, as I alluded to at the start with the developmental ways that the Thermomix can benefit participants. In terms of assistive technology, we certainly meet the brief. Assistive technology has to help you do something more easily or safely. And that's where the Thermomix comes in with its pre-programmed cooking. So if the participant forgets about it, it will just stop at the end of that next step. If the participant walks away, the Thermomix will turn itself off after 15 minutes. So there's no risk of burning, boiling dry, fire hazards, It's really sturdy on the bench with the base that it's on, so it's not like the risk of flipping a saucepan handle or a fry pan handle and having to move two things at the same time. Thermomix can very easily be used one-handed, and really there for that assistive technology, linked in with cookiedo.com.au. The Thermomix is safe to use when used in accordance with the instructions, and that's where our consultant comes in and showcases to you how to use your Thermomix. And there is a safety briefing on the front screen of the Thermomix when you initially turn it on, and at any time after the power has been turned off at the power point, the safety briefing will come on. So really simple, just a few lines and a picture to go through the safety features for anyone new to Thermomix or supporting the participant. And Thermomix in Australia exceeds all our compliance obligations and certification requirements. So the alternatives to Thermomix. So this is where we have to be really transparent with our application. And yes, there are cheaper models available on the market. There are lots of thermal cookers out there. We are really clear in knowing that we are the top of the market in terms of safety features, the assistive technology part in terms of Cookiedo, guided cooking and ongoing recipes and support. There is not another product on the market that is A, approved by the NDIS, or B, meets all of the features that Thermomix TM6 does provide. So the alternatives would really come down to whether the participant wanted the meal delivery kind of things, and you can get, a pre-packaged meals, and that would be an alternative. However, what we're finding is people that are looking for the Thermomix under their NDIS plan are looking for it for specific reasons, and often that is for dietary needs, for self-esteem and emotional connection to cooking. And the meal delivery kits aren't providing that, and they certainly don't have the higher freshness and nutritional value that cooking at home for yourself would. And then obviously the other alternative is that the participant has somebody do the cooking for them, which again is taking away from their independence and their self-esteem. I'm really happy for anyone to reach out. If you have any questions regarding the Thermomix and how it could support a participant, someone in the independent living area, aged care, anything like that, my name is Kerri-Ann Spanko. I work for the Mix Australia, and my email is kspanko, SPANKO, @thermomix.com.au. I welcome any questions and look forward to assisting you. Thank you.